What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a loot guide and overview for Witch Queen, focusing on the majority of new, unique items in the expansion. So we're going to talk about legendary weapons from the season and the expansion itself, focusing on core activity weapons, as well as the new exotic weapons and quest rewards. Plus we'll talk about new cosmetic items earned through gameplay, and mementos, which are a new crafting related cosmetic. Plus there are a bunch of other unique items to round up in the video, but we'll avoid things like season pass drops or paid items, as the point is to focus on things which need to be found in the game. And so if you guys want an overall look at the new content and rewards, this video should be helpful, and if it is, be sure to get subscribed to the channel for more Destiny content. And now let's get into it. And starting out, let's focus on some new unique cosmetic drops. And of course, these are things earned through gameplay. So initially for Season of the Risen, there's a new exotic sparrow called Ivory Empress. Kinda looks like Kaitor's personal vehicle, and this one can be earned from the Vox Obscura exotic quest mission. And it can be earned on normal or hard mode as a completely random drop, requiring clears of the mission for a chance to pick it up. There's also an exotic ship for Season of the Risen called Sovereign Order, and this is one that we'll unlock via a triumph called Applied Psychotronics, which requires us to unlock all of the upgrades from the war table in the helm. Another one related to Season of the Risen would be the Coalition Shell. Not sure why it shows a 30th anniversary icon since it is a brand new drop, but it's one that we'll earn via the Codebreaker Triumph to spend psychogenic intel to decode runic chests at the end of PsyOps Battlegrounds. And then we have a couple of items associated with Witch Queen, and initially the Star Jasmine exotic ship, which is earned by completing the Warden of the Spring Triumph, and that requires us to kill all 4 of the bosses for Wellspring on Master difficulty, and of course those bosses are on a daily rotation. And then we have a new exotic ghost shell for the Throne World, and this is called the Fundament Shell. Very cool looking thing, and it's earned via completing the Chief Investigator Triumph, and that one requires us to complete secret triumphs in Throne World to increase its score. And so it's ultimately found by revealing all of the secrets in Throne World. Then to round out the cosmetic section, a few emblems right here, and of course there is the Witch Queen legendary emblem, A Higher Truth. That one earned via a triumph after completing all of the missions on legendary difficulty. Then there'll be a couple more emblems for Season of the Risen, including Psychic Warfare and Life for Life, which are earned either via vendors or triumphs, and the exact sources aren't shown just yet, but they will essentially drop at some point if you complete all of the Season of the Risen content. Another cosmetic item would be the Ruinous Clash shader, and this one is earned by completing the All the Spring's Riches triumph, and that simply requires us to acquire all 4 of the Wellspring Weapons. But in terms of other items and cosmetics on the Throne World, of course Finch has a reputation system, so to get the legendary armor for Throne World, we'll need to level up through various ranks. Once it's been picked up from Finch, it can also drop in the Wellspring activity. There are also a few other content upgrades and the shader Queen's Colors. So of course everything in Finch's inventory is fairly self-explanatory. Up next though, let's speak a little bit about mementos. These are new cosmetic items associated with crafting. And they work a little bit like a shader, so someone posted that they got the Gambit memento here, a rare curio obtained from Gambit, and when inserted into a shaped weapon at the relic, the memento will grant the weapon additional vanity options. And for level 1 it will unlock a tracker, level 2 will unlock a title for the weapon, then at level 30 it will unlock a shader. That's one that will drop very rarely in Gambit, and then there's also one for the Nightfall as well as Trials. Just bear in mind they are very uncommon drops and could take a long time to actually pick up. And so initially for the cosmetic section, that pretty much rounds everything up, and now let's speak a little bit about weapons and exotics. And firstly, some upcoming event weapons, and we've got some for the Iron Banner. So initially there is the Frontier's Cry. Pretty cool hand cannon right there, and it's precision frame, but can also roll some new traits like adaptive munitions. The weapon adapts its damage output and effectiveness against energy shields that don't match the weapon's damage type, but also steady hands where kills provide improved handling for all weapons for a short duration, and a new Iron Banner origin trait called Skulking Wolf. And during the hunt, final blows with the weapon grant enhanced radar and remove you from opposing radar. So those look pretty cool. And then there's also the Razor's Edge from Iron Banner, a new vortex frame sword. This is the one that looks a little bit like a lightsaber. Again, it can roll the Iron Banner origin trait, but also things like Frenzy and Chain Reaction, so that should be pretty cool. So those are a couple of weapons we'll earn when Iron Banner returns. There is, however, also a new Trials weapon, and this is Aisha's Embrace, a rapid-fire energy scout rifle, and so it deals void damage. and can roll new traits like Focused Fury, where dealing half of the magazine as precision damage grants the weapon bonus damage, and the shot count is reset whenever the weapon is reloaded or stowed. Then of course the origin trait Alacrity, where you gain increased reload, stability, aim assist, and range when you're the last living member of your fire team or running solo. And so that'll be one to look forward to with the return of Trials. And before we talk about more of the Witch Queen's legendary weapons, let's touch on exotic weapons. So stuff that needs to be found or earned in the world includes Dead Messenger. This is one of the new exotic grenade launchers, and it's earned via the Vox Obscura mission after unlocking the first upgrade perk at the war table in the Helm. Additionally though, for Witch Queen, we have Parasite, and this is earned via an exotic quest of Queens and Worms, which is given to us after completing the Witch Queen campaign. And that can be found at Ikora. Then there's the craftable Osteostriga, and this is the pre-order bonus for Witch Queen, which appears in the crafting menu after the campaign has been completed. And finally, the exotic glaives. There's one for each class, and these are earned by completing the legendary glaive quest first, followed by finishing all of the quests on the Vanguard evidence board in the Enclave, which is definitely a bit of a grind. And of course we have other season pass exotics and things associated with the raid. But for exotic armor, of course if we complete the legendary campaign, we can choose one of the 2 exotics per class. And following that, exotic armor will be earned in the normal way, via Legend or Master Lost sectors, of which we have 1 featured each day right now. Next, let's round up all of the legendary weapons earnable from the season, as well as from Witch Queen. We're not going to focus on all of the potential roles for each of these weapons, as that would make for a very long video, but of course there are videos with all of the role suggestions, as well as websites like LightGG, where you can check out all of the potential roles for any of these weapons. And starting with Season of the Risen, these are weapons that can be earned via Psyops, rewards at the war table in the Helm, and then can subsequently be crafted as well. And firstly, we have the Sweet Sorrow Auto Rifle. It's a rapid-fire frame arc auto. Of course, all of the season weapons also come with the origin trait Land Tank, and final blows with the weapon grant increased resilience and additional damage resistance from combatants. Then there's a wave frame grenade launcher called Explosive Personality. Of course, it uses special ammo, and this one is a solar launcher. Additionally though, we have the Recurrent Impact, a rapid-fire frame stasis machine gun. Of course, being stasis, it can roll things like Headstone, as well as the origin trait. Then we've got the Peace of Mind Kinetic Pulse Rifle, another rapid-fire frame right here. And for any folks who like to reload obsessively, it comes with Compulsive Reloader, which grants increased reload speed when close to full magazine. Sounds like that could be a useful bonus for myself. And then we have the Thoughtless, an adaptive frame stasis sniper. It'd be pretty cool to try that one out. And finally, Under Your Skin, which is a new precision frame bow with void damage. And that can get an interesting trait called Successful Warm-Up, where each final blow increases charge and draw speed. So there are a few interesting weapons as part of this season. Once again, they can be earned via Psyops, and purchases and upgrades at the war table in the Helm. Up next though, everybody's favourite set of weapons, and it's the Wellspring drops. And these actually come from specific bosses featured in the daily rotation. So initially there is the Fell Taradiddle, a new kinetic combat bow in a lightweight frame. And this one drops from Wellspring boss Borgong, the Warden of the Spring. Then we have the Come to Pass Auto Rifle. This one can drop from Wellspring boss Golmag. The Father's Sins, which is a rapid fire frame void sniper rifle. That one can drop from Wellspring boss Xeric, the Light Flare. And finally Tarnation, and that's the rapid fire frame arc grenade launcher, which can drop from Wellspring boss Vizul, the Light Flare. And once again, the featured boss will change on a daily basis, so plenty of opportunity to grind the Wellspring right there. And finally, let's focus on weapons from Throne World. So first up, we have the Red Herring, which is being referred to as the New Edge Transit. It's an adaptive frame void rocket launcher. And of course, these Throne World weapons come with the Psycho Hack origin trait, and sustained damage from the weapon lowers the target's damage output for a short duration. There's also the Pointed Inquiry Scout Rifle. It is a high impact frame void scout. This one will drop in Throne World, but first, you need to pick it up from Finch's inventory, as it is one of his rank rewards. Plus we have the Likely Suspect Fusion Rifle. That's a rapid fire frame with void damage. On top of the Forensic Nightmare Submachine Gun, which comes with stasis damage, and that's a precision frame. And finally, the Empirical Evidence, a new kinetic sidearm, which originally drops inside of the campaign. I believe Ikora gives us one, but after that it can drop in the Throne World. And of course, the Enigma, the legendary glaive right there, which we earned during the Witch Queen campaign and via the crafting introduction. But of course, all of these weapons can be crafted and reshaped via the Enclave, and that applies to all of the season weapons as well. So that does it for all of the world drops, new Witch Queen and seasonal weapons. Of course, the one element that we haven't spoken about would be the raid rewards. And at the moment, we can't get a significant preview of them as mostly they are classified, but we can get a cheeky peek in the weapon shaping collection. So initially we have the Insidious, a new pulse rifle for the raid. It gives us a basic idea of how many weapons we're going to get. There's also the Submission, a new SMG that we'll pick up, as well as the Deliverance fusion rifle. And there'll be a second legendary glaive called Lubre's Ruin. Very much looking forward to picking that one up. On top of the Forbearance grenade launcher, that's a special grenade launcher. And then finally in the heavy slot, we're going to see Cataclysmic, a new linear fusion rifle. On top of that, there will be a raid exotic, but at the time of this video going live, the raid hasn't launched, so once it's available, I'll take a look and see if it's worth considering doing a loot guide for that. However, for today, that covers a significant number of the unique items that we can pick up in the Season and Witch Queen. Of course, separately, there are the Season Pass rewards, pursuit rewards, like the Reckless Endangerment Shotgun, and that one can be earned by reaching rank 16, at the Crucible Vanguard or Gambit vendors, but otherwise we're looking at world drops which aren't strictly tied to Witch Queen and are more focused on the wider loot pool for the game. So for today guys, I hope the video has been useful. If it has, let us know down below any items that you really want to pick up, but also a like rating below really does help us out on the channel. And if you're new around here and you want to see more Destiny, definitely get subscribed so I can keep you posted. But otherwise, thanks as always for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.